but I think we can get started. Hopefully this meeting won't take too long. Just again, so we've got minutes. I just sent around again. I'm doing minutes. And last month's March 5th minutes just went out. There's a couple outstanding minutes that have been prepared, have been approved yet. Why don't I try to get all the unapproved minutes out next week or next month, a little bit before a meeting, and then we can just approve them then, or review them then. I'm trying to keep up. Let's see. Okay, for ongoing projects, first one is the Crockett Road Peppercorn Hill sign, and then the talk that's scheduled for April 17th. Mary and Libba have been working with the presenter. Libba, do you want to give us an update?
Sure. And I sent out this afternoon a flyer. I don't know if everybody got it to Land Stewardship, but so it's Steve Mullahu or something like that. Really nice guy. He's from Milford, loves peppercorn. And so he's just anxious to share his photos and his love of the wonder of peppercorn. So Mary and I met with him, and I think, Mike, are you prepared to give a little intro?
I'm not prepared to do it, but Mary and I can figure it out, or
Okay.
we can maybe volunteer you. I think that's possible. I don't know much about the guy. We need to learn a little bit more about him, but we'll work something out.
Okay. So he's got a lot of photographs, and he knows to keep it to about an hour. We couldn't do any fundraising. That got round and around because it's a public organization, and it's really hard to donate and give money to the town organization. So anyway, there's no fundraising there. Stephen can say, if anyone would like to donate, here's a bucket. But we can't ask and can't solicit, and the flyers and everything can't talk about raising money. But he can say, if you feel like it, donate it, and then we could put that towards Peppercorn Hill. But so we put flyers around town. You should be seeing them, and at 6:30 to 7:30 on that Friday night. Then I think the next week, the 25th of April, which is a Saturday, he plans to have a walk through Peppercorn. And he'll meet everybody down on, what's it called? Crockett. And he's got a trail that a couple of hours, 2 hours, he says, of a walk. So we're hoping people would be interested enough to come to the talk and then also on the walk. But that's what's planned.
Yeah, I think the walk should be fairly well attended. We haven't done them in a while, but we have generally had good responses when open space and whenever we've had public walks. We get a good turnout.
Where did you publicize them? That's what I should do. I should send out to my volunteer list this peppercorn thing. I'll write that down.
Yeah, a lot of it's email. The library is a great resource to put up if you have a little poster or something, put it up on the bulletin board, and they might be able to put it on their website. But I don't remember where we used to have a pretty active trails, like a monthly walk thing. And I think we publicized it in the town crier.
Yeah.
Back when we had the town crier, I don't think we had much in the way of social media at the time either. So I think the fact that we got good turnouts.
Yeah, I've got that volunteer list, so I can blast that.
Yeah.
We've got the Facebook page, the Compound Facebook page, Sustainable Upton Facebook. And then I think if we can figure out when the due date is, we could get something into the that town newsletter that they're putting out. Town Hall's putting out a monthly newsletter.
Although it just came out, I think one just came out last week, so it might be too late for this.
Or at least there could be, I know the flyer for the event is on the town website. We could maybe put a little blurb about the walk on
The
there
walk,
too.
yeah.
Yeah.
And does the town still have this sign where they, they can, right in front of town hall, where they announce town meetings and the like? Could we, if there's nothing else being
Yeah.
publicized, maybe they'd be willing to put it up there for us.
Mary can probably find that out. Yeah. True. That's a good one.
Okay. As for the sign itself, we haven't ordered a new sign yet. I mean, we could. It was fabricated by Sunshine Sign in Grafton, and I think it cost around maybe 800 a couple of years ago, something like that. So if we could order a new sign. If I don't know if you folks have seen the damage picture of showing the damage. Maybe we should hold off on that because it's one corner of the sign is burnt. But the rest of the sign, it's all still legible. You can read it. So I don't know. If it's worth $1,000 or not to put a new sign up. That sign was only a couple years old.
But do you think the Sunshine folks can do kind of a touch up on the corner that's damaged, or is that not?
I kind of doubt it. That's not a bad idea, though. Maybe we could take a look at it and see if you could just cut that end off. It might look lopsided, the text, but I don't know. The other possibility is, we've ordered this new sign for Whitney. We can wait and see what that sign looks like.
Mm-hmm.
I think it'd probably be a little bit more expensive, but it might be more durable than the Sunshine signs. Although still not fireproof, probably.
Is the
So
structure for the sign at Peppercorn solid? It's like,
I think so.
we don't have to replace that.
I don't think so. No, that I don't know what they made those posts out of, but I think that is the original frame and ground mounted frame that probably dates from the late 80s.
That was probably back when arsenic was.
Yes, probably 10% arsenic or something. I
Didn't
don't
we
know.
amend it? Didn't we like add stuff to it the last when we
No,
replaced
we
it?
didn't really do much. No,
Oh,
no, we were able to just repurpose it.
well, I was in the backyard and I have the original Peppercorn sign rotting.
You still have that? Wow.
It's still legible. And
Wow.
I think it was on particle board with stick on letters, and it's still there. So I'm not sure why I held it off to leave in my yard, but there it is.
The other thing about this talk, if I get a chance, I was going to do a poster um, for the event. Just I think you guys are planning on bringing some trail maps. I would, put a trail map up, and there may be something about the history of Peppercorn. I've got a picture of an old newspaper article from like '86, about it. Picture of Francis Wollaston. I can probably come up with a few other things. We could, could just, and Mary has offered to print it at town house. It wouldn't cost anything.
That's a good idea.
This would, he's probably going to have trouble squeezing everything into an hour's presentation, but as far as the history goes, we have a lot of material that we got from Don Kerr, and we've we could go on forever as far as talking about different parts of the property that have a bit of a history. So, and we could say that for another day, but.
Well, there'll be, we can use a couple of long tables if you want to just, display different things that people can look at afterwards or before.
Don Kerr's son might be, I don't know if he's available, but he might be willing to say something about the history that he and his dad, I'm sure that there's some interesting stories that they might share. But
Do you know him to invite him, at least just for the
I know
presentation?
he's attended some of our. He's the guy who found the art. You know, he's the one who caught the arsonist, um, and
Oh,
so he's there and active, and he lives pretty much across the street from
uh-huh.
the parking area. So it probably wouldn't be a bad thing to try to get a hold of him and see if he.
Mhm. Just invite him to come, not even to say anything.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't know if I have his email address. He might be on our list of volunteers.
Oh, I don't
So
know.
I forget what his first name is, but Kerr is his last
I
name.
don't think it's on the list.
Okay, no, we can try to find him. That shouldn't be too hard.
Marcella, do you have any documents about peppercorn?
I think
If
I delivered
it,
them to Central Archive Place in Town Hall.
okay, okay,
All the stuff that we collected from Don, I did some photocopying of, like he gave us a stack of material that I photocopied, but I don't have it. I was just trying to get all land stewardship and open space stuff someplace central, and if it's anywhere, it's in a file cabinet somewhere in the conservation office. I
okay.
might take a look.
I'll ask Mary and Lauren to look for it. I do have a peppercorn file, and I found some things, um, including I've got the recording of the interview with Don Kerr.
Oh, wow.
I have
Forgot
that.
we
It's
did that.
yeah.
Oh,
Anyway, okay. Well, I'll see if I can find anything in the town hall. Um, okay. Going through the agenda. Warnbrook Conservation Area Trails. Just looking for updates and Pell Farm boundary marking. I have not contacted Grafton. I'd still like to keep it on the list there. Just shout out if you've got any updates as I go through yours. Girl Scout tree planting project at Heritage Park. I know there were no updates last time. Any updates this time on that?
the
Okay.
whole park thing is on
Okay.
my radar, just hasn't happened.
There's a lot of things like that on this. I just like, I guess I could ask you guys, do you mind if I keep all these on the list? Just keeps some, there
Mhm.
might not be any activity for months, but at least it reminds us that there's something hanging out there. Eagle Scout Boardwalk at Peppercorn, that is moving forward. The Scout Kyle had a hearing with the Conservation Commission last meeting, and they approved a plan. About 100 foot of plank boardwalks will be installed there. We got a comment from the DEP. It was a request for determination that was made, and the DEP commented again. They talked about wetland impacts, helical piles, elevated walkway, the whole crazy thing. And now this is basically a trail that's existed probably, I don't know, certainly many decades, maybe into the 1900s, literally. And it's a little wetter now than it used to be because some of beaver activity. So it's basically just a muddy trail right now, and there's no wetland vegetation. But Mary did look at the soils, and the soils are hydric. So what we decided to do was um, allow a 2 foot wide plank boardwalk instead of a 4 foot wide boardwalk, and we'll call all the muddy areas that are kind of outside the boardwalk as restoration, because those areas will no longer be walked upon, and and vegetation can regrow in those areas. So if the DP challenges the determination, that'll be our position, that we're providing basically mitigation, at least equal to the footprint of the boardwalk. So, and I sent the DEP comments to Michelle Gresda, Concord conservation administrator, and she was a couple years ago on the warpath with DP permitting requirements for boardwalks. A lot of towns apparently just approve these things administratively without any permit whatsoever. But Upton's policy has been to apply for permit, which I think is the right thing to do. But then we get these somewhat insane comments from the DP. We have to deal with. So,
When is this supposed to start?
this
I mean,
spring.
Oh,
This spring, I'm not exactly sure when, but he's got a plan that I think has been approved by the Scouts. He's got his permit from the Conservation Commission. He's gonna haul in the materials from near Angels Garden Center, near the water tower. That's the fastest, best way in, I guess. He'll use probably some four-wheelers to haul things in, partly anyway. Seems like he's got his act together pretty well.
great.
So let's see. Next Eagle Scout project at Steffens. I haven't heard anything from Colin. I believe it was his name, Colin. Robertson family new trail. We had a site visit. Actually, we've had a couple site visits there to kind of scope out where Kathy Robertson, where the Robertson family would allow us to have a trail that goes from our existing trail easement to Fowler. We think it can work. There'll be a couple of steep areas where some switchback trails would be needed. But other than that, it looks doable. We've contacted the DCR, which holds a conservation restriction on the property, and their initial thoughts on it were promising, and we're going to try to have a conversation. Scott, I, and Mary are going to try to have a conversation with them next week or two, and probably have a site visit. So it'll take some time to get to make sure it's okay with the DCR and the Robertsons, and then after that, we'll probably have to have a survey done for a recordable plan that shows the new easement.
That costs money?
Not a lot, it might cost a couple thousand. Yeah. I did get a quote from John Savello. John did the CR plan way back when. And it was $1,500 to locate the property bound on Fowler. And then Bill Taylor realized that we had a plan that already shows that. It's not the CR plan, but it's another plan. So for those of you who were out there, there's a culvert across this Fowler. That is the boundary between Robertson, the CR, and then the butter. So knowing that, we didn't have to hire John, and we were able to use GPS to flag the property line. So we're getting there. Yeah, I think I got a message today from FinCom. They're wanting someone to talk to them about the additional funding for the trail bridge. That is still out there as a town meeting article, and I told them, I could talk to them, and that there's a good chance that articles can be passed over based on what we're finding about this easement.
I know that this other access into the Robertson property is one way to deal with not having a bridge there, but now that there is kind of a little trail that that exists where the kiosk is, people are going to walk down there. People know that trail is there now. I mean, I guess we could close it. Should we give them like a picnic table or some kind of destination thing? I mean, they're not going to be able to cross.
I think that's a good idea.
But and then the trail also goes further back into the Robertsons fields, and I don't want I don't want to attract people to their private property, and that isn't part of the CR. But maybe just having something that people can enjoy that spot, because it's a lovely spot, but if you by the water there, and it's
Well,
Or-
I agree. And once we have this figured out, we can put a trail map together. I've been reluctant to do a trail map because, we've been developing the trails. Um, but that section is still very nice along the river.
it's lovely. It's
you
a
know,
really
it's,
nice.
so,
And then there's the structure. Um, maybe we could put a little sign up says this is the history of this spot and what was here.
and there's one spot, maybe next time we're out there, we can take a look where there's a step, a very difficult step. In fact, it's about a 2-foot drop. And we should do something there, like maybe make some wooden stairs or something. I usually like hang on to a tree and kind of swing over to get down. But it's beyond where the trail bridge would have been. But but we should still address that at some point.
And that's one of the cool parts of it, that's something I think people should see. It's
Mhm.
part of the old structure. So I think that would be a good idea to construct something, assuming it won't get washed away every time there's high water. Because
Yeah,
does the water go up to that level? I don't
it
remember.
does. It does when it's really high. So I don't know. Maybe maybe we should have some. We should take a look at it. Maybe it should be stone, some stone
A
steps.
stone with maybe a
That would be
rail,
permanent.
a rope
Yeah,
rail or something that
yeah.
give people something to grab onto.
We know stone people.
We do. We do. Okay, well, stay tuned on that, on Robertson. I mean, I think we're making progress there. The boardwalk, we've got that one more stream crossing to finish and maybe some touch-up work on the boardwalks that we've already built. So I think we can start to think about scheduling a workday for that. Maybe when we get down to work dates, we can talk about that. Whitney East Boardwalk, I don't think there's any updates there. Haven't heard anything about Pleasant Woods affordable housing, Pleasant Woods vernal pools. I wonder if Mary might go out this spring and take another look at those vernal pools. Powers Glen Boardwalk rehab. I haven't heard anything from Bob Hatch. We need to contact him and find out what his schedule is.
Have we approved the funding for that?
We've got the funding. Yeah,
So
we have
we
the
can
funding.
go ahead.
I mean, would someone like to be the point of contact with Bob?
um, I'm reluctant to volunteer for
Okay.
anything.
I don't know,
If
Bob.
nobody,
Well, I'll try to get a hold of him and see what his schedule is. And one thing we need to do is take a look and see if we've got access through Howard's property. I mean, hope, he did that forest project. Hopefully there's a path there now we can use. Because
well,
Bob needs to be able to drive a tractor with his supplies.
Bill seems to think that the Howards are getting ready to sell. There's a signpost thing that people hang their for sale sign on. So they've done the logging and rock moving that people do when they're about to sell.
Did he mine some more walls? I hope
Actually, I
not.
don't think there was any. I didn't see any rocks going out of there, but
No,
there's
A lot of trees.
A lot
yeah.
of trees. Yeah.
But before it changes ownership, we should just make sure that they can get in there.
Okay.
How much property does he have now?
I don't know.
Because part of it is tied into that whole development.
Yeah, it abuts the development. It abuts a piece of the town land that came as the open space that came as part of the development. And then across the street from his house where the barn is, that whole field and into the woods is all still.
That's his.
And all the way like into, it abuts Warren Brook Conservation Area.
In
But he
Whitney,
can-
it abuts Whitney.
It could be developed like houses.
Probably.
The Warren Brook side is quite wet. So I don't know, there's a lot of potential there, but the Haworth Glen side, the side where the house is,
Uh-huh.
that could, I think that could conceivably be developed. Yeah,
There's some acreage up on that side.
yeah, there's acreage.
Yeah.
Mm. District 9 Conservation Area Stewardship Plan, that's on me, no update, I haven't done anything. Update Peppercorn Trail Map, nothing there. Swoop William Farm sign replacement, I did have a, if I can show you guys, I've got another draft of the, I'll try to share my screen here. I can, wait a minute, let's see. Can you see?
Almost.
Any,
There.
you see the sign?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So this is the current draft of it. Added the town seal on one side. I'm not sure about the red line around the edge. If that's, I don't know what that is. If it's really meant to be there or not. Or do you think we need some kind of a line around the edge of this thing? Maybe not red, or maybe not at all.
I think it could go either way.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't have much of an opinion.
That line is so thin that it really doesn't add or detract from any design. But what I'm looking at, look at the corners where there's little black.
Hatch marks. Hatch marks.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it might
yeah.
just be where it actually gets, that may be the actual border of it, the edges.
Okay.
So, I don't know, I could take it or leave it, but just as soon leave it if it's, keep things
Okay.
simple. I don't
Okay.
know.
I'll ask him. I can ask him about that. So anyway, I think that we're almost ready to hit print on this if there's no other
Yeah,
comments, and we'll see what we get.
yeah. Looks nice.
Yeah, it does. Scott, I see
Mike,
your,
does Mike,
Yeah.
does the Sudbury Valley trustees have a emblem or a seal or anything like that, or is this too busy, you think, to put it on?
Yeah, I know, someone might mention that last time, and it's adding a third seal I wasn't sure how to do the layout.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they are mentioned in there,
we're ready
verbally.
to put the state's information logo on there, right?
Yeah,
Should have the
They-
town. Those two are,
they're probably the main source of funding. SVT helped out. And we've got right below it is a separate sign that recognizes the CPA funding. And that sign is still in pretty good shape. So I managed to do was lose my agenda. I shared that screen. Hold on.
Whitney Conservation Area hazard trees.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, that's town meeting warrant article 15,000. It made it into the warrant. That's FinCom also had questions about that. Try to answer them. We do have a quote from Stumpy's Tree Service that somewhat supports that amount, that number. See, Scott, what's next?
You're on mute. Stefan's Farm field mowing and field edges.
Okay, Stefan's Farm field mowing, well, again, it's too wet to do anything up there, but we could conceivably, Greg Trussell has offered to do some field edging for us, like chainsaw work. Um, um, and, we could conceivably, hire him to do some of that work this summer. The other thing he offered, he's got some sort of a off-road vehicle, one of these, basically like a souped-up golf cart, if you know what I mean.
Would he like to hear you say that?
Oh, he just wants to go cruising around with his little.
Exactly. He offered to take us up there. He offered to take me up there with my bad knees. And so I just want to let you know we could have a site visit up there with him sometime and maybe talk about some of that field edging if we wanted to have that done.
Yeah, if you didn't need to do anything, bring heavy equipment up there, that would be a great way to use his, what he's got. Yeah, it's impossible for us to stay on top of that, and quickly find paying somebody to really do a thorough job of it. And it's going to be, it's going to keep coming back. We haven't been up to, you haven't kept up with the mowing as we should have, and we haven't done any. I don't know the last time we had a volunteer day up there, but every time we have one of those, we make a dent, but we don't really complete everything that needs to be completed. And if Greg can do that, I would be very pleased to have him do it. You should just give us a quote, and if we want to do a site visit with him.
Hmm.
But
I
I
think,
think it's site visit. No,
yes.
Scott, go ahead.
Yeah, I think so. Because some areas are worse than others, and some areas, I think some of that vegetation that's coming in is okay. It's just some of it, like the buckthorn coming in, you got to get rid of that.
yeah,
But yeah, I think a site visit would be helpful. Focus on certain areas.
Well, I'll let them know. I mean, we can schedule something. And another thought, just if we have an intern, the intern could also do some of that work, maybe even with Greg.
mhm.
I think Greg had kind of volunteered his son to do some of this.
Is there an intern this summer?
There's hopes to having one. Yeah.
If he's going to be doing chainsaw kind of work, I would hope that he either has an assistant. I know his son works with him now and again, but
Yeah.
Or have an intern there. I wouldn't want him up there using.
I agree. I wouldn't want the intern using a chainsaw, but
No, but just
but as a safety person, another
Spotter,
person on
okay.
site. Yeah. Let's see, and I know that might be almost it. Community garden wasn't on there. I forgot to put it on again, but and Mary isn't here.
USA 250 Concom tree planting
I
proposal.
think, yeah. Concom's still talking about that tulip tree. I don't think. Go ahead.
We talked about it at the last meeting, and I think people like the idea of putting one tree over by town hall and another one at Heritage Park. So if we were to do two. And was it the tulip poplar that we decided was the?
I think so. I think that's the tree we decided on. Yeah. And then I guess I don't
You're
know
on
if
mute,
Mary.
Scott.
Sorry, what was the tree that you were proposing?
Tulip tree.
Tulip
Tulip
tree.
poplar.
It seems to be pretty long-lived, and
They grow
And it
fast.
grows pretty.
they grow
Yeah,
fast and climate resilient.
Yeah, deer like them too.
Well,
We'll try for a couple inch at least caliper diameter, give it a good head start on the herbivores.
like we actually have, enough money to purchase more than a sapling.
yeah,
So
big one.
maybe I don't know how many deer hang out downtown, but Heritage
Yeah,
Park.
probably not too many.
I think I've seen deer poop around Heritage Park, but not often and not much. So I'm not too concerned.
And then the community garden, I guess Mary's not here, no updates, and I think that's it.
Yeah, that's the end of your list.
So schedule a work day. Do we want to try to schedule a work day for Robertson's for the boardwalk? We've got the materials are all down there, just a matter of assembling it. And I know what's his name? What's our volunteer's name? Drawing a blank. From the NEMBA.
Oh, Toby,
Toby, thank you. Toby's interested in helping. So
right?
Well, we could do something maybe the day after the talk, or the day after, or 2 days after, Saturday or
Oh.
Sunday. It'd be like the 18th or
18th or
19th.
19th.
My calendar says the 19th is National Volunteer Appreciation Day.
Ooh, perfect.
Well,
Ooh,
Nice.
get them to work.
time
So
for
I'll bring the donuts. I'll bring the
yeah,
donuts.
donuts and cocoa.
So we want to do like 11 in the morning on the 19th, is that?
So
Yeah.
the 19th is a Sunday. That's good. 11 a.m.
At Robertson's.
Yeah.
And that's to complete the boardwalk work.
Yeah, at least come pretty close. We might have to do some ramps on those boardwalks that are already built. But
I'm just wondering what to put on the volunteer
Oh.
info.
Oh,
For tools.
yeah,
What, like tools would be hammer.
drills. You guys.
yeah, we'll bring the drills and then and just bring work gloves and a hammer. It's pretty much all they need. And then all the materials I think are down there already, so there's no need for people to carry in, any heavy lumber.
And we got enough work for 6 or 8 people or 10, or of course, there might be 3,
Yeah.
but I'm just wondering.
Yeah, I mean, to tell you the truth, probably 4 persons would probably be, you begin to get in each other's way a little bit.
And people don't like to be just standing around.
Yeah.
Is there any stuff grown in that we're gonna need to do any kind of trimming back on the trail? You would nothing would have grown in since the fall when you were there last, but are there parts of the trail that need work, or that the part of the trail where the second kiosk is closer to the access
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
the DCR land? I don't think we've touched that since, and I looked down there, you can get across the gas line, you can walk through the woods, but it hasn't been officially cleared. Maybe we could put some people on that if we have extra people, and maybe
That's true, yeah.
get some medallions and put some trail markers up.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah. So ask people to bring clippers and things like that, loppers. And there could be some trees down,
Oh, I'll bet there are. That's true.
over the winter. So I might I'll at least bring my my small chainsaw.
And that area, we can't really do anything with the new proposed Robertson area till we get DCR and everybody on board. So we shouldn't even think about.
Yeah, that's gonna take some time to get.
So we're
everything.
asking, it's how do we describe where it is? Warren and at the kiosk, is that good enough? Warren Road.
Yeah. I can email you the next to a certain address. I can't remember what the address is now, but something Warren, like 100 Warren or something around there. Oh,
Are we gonna just park over by the parking lot where the kiosk is, or?
yeah, that's what I would
Yeah,
do.
just along Warren Street, I guess.
Yeah, that's usually, especially on a Sunday, it shouldn't be a big deal.
Yeah, okay. So this is April 2nd right now. I guess I'll get that out
Mhm.
once, in the next couple of days, and then again as it gets closer.
Mm. Maybe, I don't want to scare people away, but say something about ticks because they're out.
Oh, yeah.
Remind people to,
Boots or
Got
dress for ticks and spray,
dress for ticks.
insect repellent, that kind of thing.
Okay, I'll make a note and see if I can write it in a way that's not too scary.
Anybody who's used to working, I mean, I haven't been able to walk from my door to my car without picking
Yeah.
up. Yeah. So they're out there. They're having a field. They're ready. It's like, oh, it's warm.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go grab
Ugh.
people.
There's a good article in Northern Woodlands, this issue about deer ticks and Lyme disease. It's pretty good if you haven't had a chance.
Oh yeah, I'd like
It
to
is
see.
good.
Can you send it around, Scott?
I can see
No.
if I can copy it, but
It's
I can maybe send the website link to it. I think you can view it
Yeah.
online.
Conservation has an online subscription, so we should be able to get
Oh,
you
okay.
onto that somehow.
Hmm.
I
And
think
what's it do? Suggest ways to beat it, or stuff to
Well,
spray your clothes with?
it's more about the history of the deer tick and
Oh, yeah.
life history, but then they give the precautions when you come back inside, throw your clothes in the dryer for 10, 15 minutes.
Yeah.
And, yeah.
That's
But,
good. Just some information. That's
Yeah.
always good.
Move to the Canadian Arctic, although they have, then there's mosquitoes, so, it's.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, since they have the tundra melting away, we're gonna have ticks there too.
Mhm.
Right, anything else?
That's good.
just one other thing, Mike, the the openings that we did up at Warren Brook, um, one of them's now mostly in Grafton, but the other one is still entirely in Upton. Some of the trees are starting to get a little bit bigger, at least than desirable, I guess.
Mm.
So I was going to do a little experimental thing up there where I was going to be cutting some of the saplings down in one area. You're not going to do the whole thing, but I'm thinking maybe a third every 5 years would be something realistic. So I'm going to start off in the corner up closest to Grafton Road as you're coming down. And I'll try doing brush piles and then just leaving them where I cut them. And if somebody wants to go up there and take a look and see which you think is preferable, but the brush piles is a lot of work. I know that. Whereas if you just cut them and leave, and they'll probably decay in a couple of years anyway. So, but some of those saplings are like 15 feet tall now, 20 feet. So they're getting pretty big. So you got to start thinking about that if you want to maintain that area.
What kind of trees are they?
Mostly red maple saplings. There's some oak sprouts, and these are mostly sprouts too from the cut trees. So they're mostly red maple and oak. Yeah.
Mm. Well, it sounds okay to me. I just, I guess, stay off of Grafton for now.
Oh yeah.
It, I'll try to write that letter or email to Grafton Concom about this whole issue.
Yeah,
not just
that
the
area is-
management, not just that, but just the trail maintenance and
Right.
all that.
Yeah, that area isn't as bad as the one in Upton. I think was it maybe a little drier site or something, so it's not coming in as thick as it is on the Upton open area. So
Okay. If do you want a volunteer day?
um, well, I'll be out there this Saturday if anybody wants to come up. I'll pretty much probably good if I don't have anybody else, I'll just use a handsaw and loppers. Some of these things you can just lop off. They're not that big, but um, I'll be out there Saturday, say like 10 to 12 or something. So if anybody wants to come up, come on up
I know.
at the Grafton Road site.
Is that something you'd want Libba to put a word out to the volunteers, or is that?
Let me get through this one day first, and I can sort of see what level of effort's going to be involved after that. and I have a better handle on it, I think.
Mhm.
Yeah, you could call a volunteer day any old time. You could just then let people know that you're going to be out there and they can share
Okay.
the information.
And brush piles are good too. If get some people to haul stuff around to make some piles. They're good habitat.
Yeah, they are. Just it's just a lot of work hauling those things around.
Yeah, yeah, and that'd be nice to have some help
Yeah.
to do that.
All right.
Thanks. All right. Anything else? All right. At 7:49, motion to
good.
adjourn.
Thank you. I'll motion to adjourn.
Second.
Seconded by Marcella. Thank you. All in favor? Like aye.
Aye.
Bye.
Anyone
Okay.
on?